Welcome back to Smart Dollar Mindset, the channel dedicated to helping you master money, build wealth, and create the financial future you deserve. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe because every week we share powerful strategies for saving, investing, and making smart financial decisions. Today, we're diving into a topic that confuses millions of people: credit card April. You've seen it on your credit card statement, in the fine print of card offers, and even in TV ads. But what does APR really mean? How does it affect your finances? And why should you care about it? Here's the truth. APR, or annual percentage rate, is one of the most important things you need to understand if you use a credit card because it determines how much you'll pay in interest if you don't pay off your balance in full. And let me tell you, misunderstanding APR can cost you hundreds or even thousands of dollars over time. By the end of this video, you will know what APR really is and how it works behind the scenes, the different types of APR you need to know about, how credit card companies calculate interest daily, real-life examples that show how fast interest can add up, strategies to avoid paying unnecessary interest and use credit cards to your advantage. So if you want to master this critical part of credit card usage and protect your hard-earned money, stick with me until the end because we're about to break it all down. What is APR and why does it matter? APR stands for annual percentage rate, and it represents the yearly cost of borrowing money on your credit card expressed as a percentage. It's important to note that APR is not a flat annual fee, it's a way of showing how much interest you will pay on an unpaid balance if you carry it from one month to the next. Think of it this way: if you have a credit card with an APR of 20%, and you carry a balance, that 20% is applied over the course of a year, but credit card interest isn't charged once a year, it's calculated daily. That's where things start to get interesting, and expensive, if you're not careful. Why does APR matter? Because the higher your APR, the more expensive it becomes to borrow money using your credit card. And since most credit cards charge between 18% and 30% APR, carrying a balance can quickly lead to significant interest charges. How does credit card APR really work? Most people assume that if their APR is 20%, the bank just adds 20% of their balance at the end of the year, but that's not how it works. Credit card interest is calculated using daily periodic rates, which means the annual rate is divided by 365 to get a daily rate. For example, if your APR is 20%, your daily periodic rate is 20% divided by 365 equals 0.0548% per day. Every day you carry a balance, the bank applies that daily rate to your balance, and then interest compounds, meaning you pay interest on interest. Real-life example: imagine you have a $1,000 balance at 20% April. On day 1, you owe $1,000. The next day, the bank adds about 55 cents in interest, 0.0548% of $1,000. On day 2, interest is calculated not just on the original $1,000 but on $1,000.55. It keeps growing day after day. If you only make minimum payments, this compounding effect can keep you in debt for years and cost you hundreds or even thousands in interest. Types of credit card APR. Credit cards often come with multiple APR rates depending on the type of transaction. Here are the main ones you should know. 1. Purchase APR. This is the interest rate applied to purchases if you don't pay your balance in full by the due date. 2. Cash advance APR. Usually higher than the purchase APR, often 25% or more, and it starts accruing interest immediately with no grace period. 3. Balance transfer APR. This applies when you move a balance from one card to another. Some cards offer 0% introductory APR for transfers for a limited time, which can be useful for paying off debt faster. 4. Penalty APR. Triggered when you make a late payment. This can be as high as 30% and is a costly mistake to avoid at all costs. The grace period and why it's your best friend. One of the most powerful benefits of credit cards is the grace period, which is typically 21 to 25 days after your billing cycle ends. If you pay your full balance within this period, you owe zero interest, even if your APR is 20% or higher. But the moment you carry a balance into the next cycle, the grace period disappears, and interest starts accruing immediately on new purchases. That's why carrying a balance, even once, can cost you more than you think. Why APR can be misleading. Here's something many people don't realize. APR assumes you're carrying a balance for a full year, but credit cards calculate interest daily. So while APR gives you a sense of the cost, the actual amount you pay depends on your average daily balance and how quickly you pay it down. This means that making multiple payments during the month, not just once at the due date, can reduce your average daily balance and lower your interest charges. Real-life impact of APR. Let's break it down with another example. You carry a $2,000 balance at 20% APR and make only the minimum payment of $50 per month. How long will it take to pay off? Over 5 years, and you'll pay more than $1,200 in interest. That's the power of compounding working against you. Now imagine instead that you pay $250 per month. You'll be debt-free in less than 9 months and pay under $200 in interest. The difference isn't just financial, it's psychological because debt weighs on you like a heavy chain. How to avoid paying interest altogether? Here's the golden rule. Always pay your balance in full every month. If you do this, your APR doesn't matter because you'll never pay interest. Credit card companies make billions because most people don't follow this rule, but you're smarter than that. Strategies to deal with high APR. Negotiate a lower rate, call your issuer and ask for a reduction, especially if you have a good payment history. Use a balance transfer card, look for cards with 0% introductory APR offers and transfer your high interest debt to buy time. Make multiple payments each month. Lower your average daily balance and reduce interest costs. Focus on high APR debt first, use the avalanche method to tackle expensive debt first. Advanced tips for maximizing credit cards. Set up autopay to never miss a due date. Use credit cards only for expenses you can pay off immediately. Never use a credit card for cash advances, fees and interest start instantly. Understanding APR is one of the most important things you can do as a credit card user because it puts you in control of your financial future instead of being controlled by fine print. APR might look like just a percentage on paper, but in reality, it's a powerful force that can either drain your wealth or become irrelevant if you use credit wisely. Here's the truth, you don't have to fear APR if you respect it. The key is to understand how it works, make informed decisions, and develop habits that protect your money. Credit cards can be incredible tools, they offer convenience, rewards, and security, but only when you stay disciplined. When you pay in full, you avoid interest, keep your credit score strong, and use the system to your advantage. But if you ignore APR and carry balances month after month, you become part of the profit machine that banks rely on to make billions each year. The choice is yours, be the person who pays interest or the person who earns rewards. Be the one in control. Remember, every dollar you save by avoiding interest is a dollar you can invest, a dollar that can compound for your future, and a dollar that brings you closer to financial freedom. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to Smart Dollar Mindset, and share this with someone who needs to understand credit card APR before it costs them money. And don't forget to check out our other videos on credit cards, budgeting, and investing to level up your financial game.